I know. Let me start off by apologizing. I ended up being away for way longer than I planned. Naturally, some of you thought I had gone over to the other side, and I can't blame you. The thought crossed my mind, because just look. Kuri kudyiwa. Una munhu wese ari patebwe ari kunyongonya. You guys, but I'm here. Still your guy. For now. 2023 is here. Elections are this week. I need you to dial *265# to confirm your polling station. Because why? Because taga no voter. Ladies and gentlemen, war vets and unfocused youth, welcome to another season of Propaganda with Kandoro. I don't know if you guys can smell it where you are, but it definitely smells like election season. You can tell it's election season because there's a lot of lies in the air. No country, absolutely none, does elections like my beloved Zimbabwe. Because all of a sudden, MPs that you haven't seen in 5 years want to be best friends. The same guys that have been complaining about being broke consistently for the past 5 years suddenly stumble upon enough cash to buy cars for the police, cars for chiefs, cash for helicopters, cash for chicken in. But as much as each election has twists and turns, you can always count on the guys at the Shake building to dust off the same old manifesto that they have been copying and pasting since the days when people believed that Joyce Mjuru shot down a helicopter. Meanwhile, the opposition, it actually feels wrong to call them the opposition because I'm not even sure who's opposing who anymore. It's just chaos over there. In a very expected twist of events, Douglas Ngonzora pulled out of the 2023 elections. This is what happens when you get addicted to power. You start off small. You start off by recalling councillors, then you start recalling MPs, and before you know it, you've run out of people to recall. It's just you by yourself on the chopping board. You have to admire the shamelessness, though. This is the same guy who said this.
The MDC cannot be judged by a small by-election. It passed the 10th iyo. Ndeipa 2023. Ndarota ini pachi count up. Munangapi Ngonzora. Aneta nekuti Ngonzora. Angoti ra.
And now that same guy is trying to tell us this.
We are boycotting this fuss. We are boycotting this shame. We are boycotting this presidential election.
This man spent the better part of the last 5 years in Poland under the guise of dialogue and nation building. The Electoral Act requires that a candidate provide a written withdrawal at least 21 days before an election, and Dagi withdrew on the 8th of August, meaning hakuna refund. Did you guys know that Ngonzora, by virtue of being the MDC Alliance president, received over $1 million from the government via the Political Parties Act? This is money that is given to anyone with a minimum of 5% of the total number of legislators in parliament. All things considered, you had a good run, Mkoma Dagi. But like all Ponzi schemes, it has to come to an end at some point. Do you guys know who I feel for in all of this? It's Ngonzora's daughter, Bertha Ngonzora.
And as an MDCT supporter, I have a special request for the contingency of confused Care Bears. Word on the street is you are planning on boycotting the by-elections. Please, we know you're scared, but please don't. Time to come and participate like everybody else. Put your best foot forward. I really want to see something. Come and participate just like everybody else and take the final dose of your medicine.
As children, we all grew up thinking that our parents, especially our fathers, can beat up other fathers. And no child should ever have that illusion shattered. Especially Not in public. I'm going to read you guys a tweet. And I want you to close your eyes and imagine who could have possibly tweeted these things. It's our sacred duty to stand up against tyranny and defy all its machinations. Zimbabwe is our country and we have to fight for our freedom and rights. Let's expose the depth of capture and reverse it. This can't continue. In the name of the Lord, enough is enough. That is none other than Passenger 34. I know Simuka Who would have thought it Xavier Kasukuere as an opposition politician? His fight with ZANU-PF has felt very personal. First, they let him pay the 20,000 that is required to play with the big boys. And then they said, on second thoughts, ZANU-PF challenged Xavier Kasukuere's candidacy, and they did it through a guy named Lovedale Mangwana. The question we all need to be asking is, where and why do they keep making these Mangwanas? They keep popping up from everywhere. There's Paul Mangwana, former minister and brother to my best friend, Nick Mangwana. There's also Jasper Mangwana, who at some point was the ZEC spokesperson. And now we have a Lovedale. Why? Why? Issues to do with electoral reforms have been long-standing since the Mugabe era. While Mugabe might be gone, the system that sustained him for so long is very much still in place. It's just a slightly updated playbook, but still the same playbook. So when the same people that used to benefit, actually scratch that, when the same people that helped prop up that system start crying wolf, it's like, well. The only female candidate in this year's election is Elizabeth Valerio. She's representing the United Zimbabwe Alliance. It would have been 2 women on the ballot, but 20,000 is 20,000. And if there's anything that I know about Linda Masarra is that she doesn't have 20,000. The court said, hey. Whatever. They didn't even hear out. Funny thing is, Linda is actually on record advocating for higher fees for presidential candidates. The universe was just like, so far what we know about Miss Valerio is that she's a big animal lover. Her work is rooted in conservation and animal rights. Valerio says her mother left her a herd of elephants in the Tete area in Wange and was given herd of elephants. Must be nice. Also running in this year's elections is Harry Peter Wilson, easily the funniest candidate. You can just tell by the picture, Panika John Banda Garwitika. Love Madugu is also running. Why? Joseph Makamba Busha, Blessing Kasia Muru, Trust Chiko Ora, Henry Muzorewa, Wubet Mbaiwa are also running. I get that this is a democracy, guys. But with the way things are in our country, if you have $20,000, this is how you choose to spend it. Okay. But the past few months have largely been about Nelson Chamisa and Emmerson Mnangagwa. They've been going at it. Slogan for slogan. Rally for rally. Court case for court case. Or the court case have just largely been one-sided. Which brings me to the biggest winner by far in this and every other election cycle. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the lawyers. Usually Zimbabwean lawyers make a killing after the election, challenging results, constitutional hearings. But this year, ZANU-PF was just like, you know what? Let's spice things up. Start now. This is just a quick list of the ongoing or just concluded election-related court case. There's Lovedale Mangwana versus Kasukuere and others. There's Linda Masarira versus ZEC. There's Elizabeth Valerio versus ZEC. Douglas Ngonzora versus ZEC. Triple C versus everyone. State versus Fadzai, State versus Job Seeker. Actually, that's Triple C versus Triple C. It's a mess. It's a mess. A lot is happening. And we haven't even got into what has been happening with sports and arts and what's happening in the streets. But in the streets, I can tell you that Mukoma Week now is back and he wants you and your Ambuya to know it. And that's all I will say about that. There was a time when you could say whatever you wanted about Say Week now because things were shaky, but now budget rema lawsuit ravepo. So that's all I will say. My fellow unfocused youth, we have a very big week coming up. And the only way we're going to get through that week is by going through it together. All of last season, I kept on harping about 2023 because I genuinely believe we have an opportunity to do something amazing for ourselves. An opportunity to let our voices be heard. No one else is going to be in that booth with you. It's just you and your conscience. I need every young person to stand up and be counted because the time is now. Who you vote for matters not to me, but it absolutely matters that you vote. There are those that will come and tell you to vote. It's a lie. We need to remove the noise. We need to quiet the fears because for the first time in a long time, we are in control. You matter. Your choice matters. Stand up and be heard. Whatever happens, whatever the outcome, I'm proud of you because I know you're going to play your part. I'll see you guys for polling station.